Everybody has an opinion.
No, I don't think so.
I employ that bloke for when gigs are going badly.
To look incredibly rock and roll.
How would you cook that?
Be more entertaining. I'm glad you like that. I just did a little bit of weed.
Hey.
G'day.
Welcome back to This Week in Comedy.
This week in comedy, wow. It's just before Christmas.
It is 2 weeks, two more shows after this one to go, I think.
No, I think you're way into it. No, Christmas is next week and
New Year's is 2 weeks away.
Yeah,
I don't
that's right.
celebrate Christmas.
You don't celebrate Christmas?
No. Not a Christmas person.
Or children. Yeah.
Whatever.
No, I mean that in a sad children or no.
Yeah, no, my children are always very sad.
Yeah. Well, other people do, and it is a time of happiness and joy, and very few comedy gigs. So
No, yeah, everything's pretty dead at the moment.
Yeah.
Everyone's getting ready for the new year, I guess.
yeah, which will be exciting. I'm looking forward to 2026.
Well, yeah, comedy festival's already coming up. Everyone's
Yeah.
registered and shows are coming out.
That's right, and I will pick you up again, the Melbourne International Comedy Festival, because this is a podcast for all comedy lovers.
One day I'll learn.
So yes, for anyone out there who's gone, the comedy festival, is there such a thing? You know, when Lily says that, she means Melbourne.
Which is a great thing. It is so pervasive that even I'm making that mistake. I think a lot of people do. So
Yeah.
willing to be the dummy, the Melbourne International Comedy Festival from March to April.
That's right. And within that, of course, and we talked about it last episode, the Business of Comedy Conference will be embedded into that timeline, and that's pretty exciting. I'd love to see that become a yearly event.
Yeah, well, this is the first one and I think it can only grow.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
I mean, it can disappear as well, but it can also grow.
Sure. It's Schrödinger's conference at this stage. You know?
It is. I know. It's awesome. It's probably the best conference ever. Just don't open the door.
Yeah, correct. So we're going to move into This Week in Comedy News.
Tell us.
Definitely trailing off a bit at the end of the year, but Dick Van Dyke turned 100.
He did.
As we know. Dick Van Dyke, born in 1925, best known for The Dick Van Dyke Show. Works include Mary Poppins, Shitty Shitty Bang Bang, and Bye Bye Birdie.
So did you say Chitty Chitty Bang Bang or Shitty Shitty Bang Bang?
I tried to do a combination of both. I said Chitty Chitty, but with like a slight s on it.
Right. He had a spoonful of sugar, and I think that's the secret to his longevity.
What sort of sugar?
And that's the line. It's a spoonful of sugar.
That's Mary Poppins?
Yeah, wasn't he in that?
Yes, I did just mention that.
I think he was the hello English governor, wasn't he?
That's right, in the park, and
Yeah.
it was really weird.
Yeah, he was back when Americans could do British. And his name was Bert, from memory.
There we go, Bert.
Yeah, that's,
Not of Bert and Ernie.
and when I say from memory, I mean from a guy waving a white sheet
Frantically.
with the word Bert on it. Yes, that's our technician there. So Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Mary
Poppins, Bye Bye Birdie. What I find fascinating that he's still going is he's one of the last living comedians who went from vaudeville all the way through to modern sitcoms. He's done it all.
Probably the last person who knew Walt Disney. I heard. Yeah.
He's frozen in a lab somewhere, I believe. Just his head, though.
Just his head.
Yeah, that's actually true.
Right.
Any cookers out there can confirm that.
Well, they'll just stick it on a Chinese robot.
Yeah, well, sure.
From last episode, they're taking over the world, aren't they? So
Those robots, I swear, just deviating a bit, those robots are absolutely at this stage people in suits. Like, and then they'll just show a little bit of an arm or a leg and it's like it's an amputee. You can't trick us.
you say that, but there was a video since our last episode of a Chinese robot, which they'll all be eventually, and kicking the general manager or the CEO in the chest, knocking him backwards.
I did see this, yeah.
Which I'm thinking if as we predict, robots do become the comedians of the future, you'll be laughing through fear.
Yeah. Maybe that'll be the death of heckling, you know.
It will be. Because comedians, honestly, are very, very passive, borderline pathetic when it comes to – I've never heard of a street fight between comedians is what I'm saying.
Sure, it'd be more of a sissy fight, you know, like –
But you put a robot on stage and they make the punchline, no one laughs. Oof. You know.
Terminator activate.
Exactly. Yes.
No, very.
I'll be called back.
That's the punchline. Oh, dear. Melbourne International Comedy Festival, in other news, the correct name, has announced their hosts for their key shows. So we've got Denise Scotty, who I adore, is hosting the gala, and Brett Blake and Bron Lewis are hosting the opening night All Stars Super Show.
Great comedians.
Very cool. Have you been to any of the gala or the Superstars show?
Oh, gala years ago in St Kilda.
At the Palais, I believe they have it.
Yeah. I have been and, been a comedy lover for 28, 30 years probably on my own. I think my parents took me to, I think one of my 18th birthday, I think my parents took me to see Tripod.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
And I met one of the boys from Tripod and told that experience that I went there and I saw this show, and he looked at me and says, no, you didn't see us because we didn't do that show until 2 years later. So somehow I've created, because it was something to do with pirates. And he goes, no, we wouldn't have done that because we wrote that show 3 years later. So somehow I definitely saw Tripod. I'm not sure how I've combined my memory into multiple experiences.
You said you were 18. Did you have your first drink or?
Yes. Yes, I did.
It's either that or you've got some sort of like comedic foresight where you're just seeing people's shows from the past.
I I think statute of limitations allows me to say this. I think I had my first drink at 16 and that was from a bottle shop, and it was in a place down near Bairnsdale in Victoria. And
what were you doing down there?
I was just with a friend who did sailing, and his family. And I remember going into the bottle shop and saying, "Can I have an orange vodka rather than a vodka orange?" It was UDLs. Popular back then, and I think it's vodka and orange. I think was but I would say orange and orange vodka.
Orange vodka.
The guy still gave me a slab of this thing. Yeah,
this guy needs it.
Yeah,
can't even say the drink properly.
Exactly. Yeah,
No.
A pure alcoholic. He
No,
must be over 18.
I started drinking at 14, but I grew up in the country, so different upbringings.
Yeah, that's right. You didn't have a PlayStation; you just had a beer fridge.
Yeah, just Dad's beer fridge and a bunch of dirt and some dirt bikes. It was great. So let's move on now to this week in comedy history.
Tell me.
Well, again, of course, we have Dick Van Dyke, who was born in West Plains, Missouri in 1925, which we've already mentioned, but just something really cool about being 100. I don't know. We will get back to Dick Van Dyke and the fact that I think being 100 as a comedian is pretty cool later on. I've got some stats for you about comedians' lifespans. But also this week in comedy history, on the 11th of December 1976, Candice Bergen was the first woman to host Saturday Night Live.
Saturday Night Live.
Okay.
Which is very cool as a woman.
Yes.
That statement, that as a woman. But that's pretty cool. 76, you were born in what, 75?
Yes,
so
I was.
That's 49 years ago. It's pretty
Almost dead, Rena.
progressive, I guess.
Yeah. I think, well, certainly Australia, most TVs would have been black and white. I think American TVs went colour in the 50s or 60s, but I think the average Aussie probably was watching. Well, they wouldn't have watched that show. It wouldn't have been on.
No, it wouldn't
Australian
have been.
terrestrial.
No, it was. I remember in the 2000s when it was a big deal. It was like, oh my God, we can get this TV show 3 days after it airs in the US or something. Do you remember that?
Right.
It was such a big deal, and now you can just get everything instantly.
And they would have been flying the tapes over on an aeroplane.
Yeah,
there was no internet,
that
right?
never occurred to me. They would have. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's it.
The physical film. That's wild.
Yeah.
The Simpsons also premiered their first full-length episode.
Don't have a cow, man.
That was in 1989. Not the Tracy Ullman show. That is where they started with shorts. Did you know that? I don't know.
Oh, the ones where the faces are very malleable, very sort of...
Very different. So they're the OG designs. Very different. This was the first full length, roasting on an open fire, and it aired December 17, 1989. Now, I was born in 1990, but I grew up on The Simpsons, so I was probably watching this from about 91 on tapes.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Well, I was 89, I was in year 9, and so that made me 14, 15, and you're very influenced by culture, and there wasn't the influencing social media, Instagram. That was the Instagram of the day, so we used to watch that, and I think pretty much for the next 2 days at school, that's the words that came out of our mouth were literally lines of The Simpsons.
What are you little?
Yeah, that's
absolutely.
it.
Yeah, we used to watch it every night at 6 o'clock on Channel 10.
Yeah.
It's a tradition. And now my children have actually seen every single episode of The Simpsons, which, they may not be able to read.
That's right.
But they can quote any Simpsons season, aside from the new ones. Which
I'm going all the way to the Prime Minister. It's probably one of my favourite lines.
Yeah, where he gets the boot.
Yeah, the boot. That's the Australian. For those that are not familiar, that's the Australian episode. To the American listeners, that is, made us proud that we were actually an episode.
Yeah.
A whole episode.
And it was a big deal back then as well to be featured. And, we had the Prime Minister on a floaty, I think,
Yeah, that's
like
right.
an inner tube in a dam. It's very cool.
Yeah. That's right. And right at the end, because Australia is famous for its introduced species, toads and rabbits
right, at the
and
end.
foxes and so on, then the little juxtaposition was the cute koala becomes the
clinging
enemy
onto their plane.
and destroys America, or at least its
Fantastic.
agriculture. The drop bear, an inside gag there.
As a girl who grew up in the country, I was well versed on drop bears. I thought drop bears were, they are real, and I was convinced
Yes, they
of
are
that
real.
until I was, still now.
I think it's one of the best intelligence tests for particularly Americans, that if you think drop bears are dangerous, you don't want to come, and that makes for better tourism. Yeah.
Absolutely. And there's nothing like having a new person come into the country and tell them the drop bear law, be the one that scares them like that.
I love
and then every other Aussie will back it up, even without a stranger.
That's
will
what I was
back
about
it
to
up.
say.
Yep.
It doesn't matter. You could be on a train with
Yep.
strangers, and if someone turns around and goes, "Hey, this guy's talking about drop bears. Are they real?" The entire
absolutely.
carriage goes, "Yeah."
Be careful, man. I had a cousin, who
Yeah.
got scalped. It's so good. And that's such an
right.
Australian thing,
It
I
is.
think.
It is. Brings us together.
It does. Speaking of Australia, import-export.
Just imports, no exports?
Oh, that's right. And this is where people come and go.
Yes, Australians going out or international acts coming in.
Who's coming in?
December's a bit slow. So Danny Boy has
Boy.
announced he's coming back.
Scottish.
Scottish. Geddes is a Scottish name. I don't know if you know that.
And Indian? Because I think he's also part
Yes,
Indian.
he's half Indian, half
Yeah.
Scottish. And he's coming back for his 13th tour in Australia.
He's going to marry an Australian. It's happened before.
High quality women here in Australia.
That's right. Arj Barker, Jeff Green.
Yeah, do you, Jeff Green?
Jeff Green. Hello, everybody. It's good to be back in Melbourne. There's a coffee shop for everyone now, isn't there?
Are you perished?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Shout out to Jeff Green.
Oh, lovely man.
But yeah, Danny Boy is coming back with his new show, Dear World. Interesting fact about Danny Boy that I love is he was dared into comedy.
Dared into comedy.
Dared into comedy.
I at the Hard Knock Knocks Comedy School, we get a lot of people who are dared into comedy. A lot of them are drunk when they sign up as
Yeah.
well. So I think there's a combination of being drunk and being amongst peers that probably gets you into comedy. I think there's a high proportion of drunks and Brad Oakes, very famous Brad Oakes, from a sister podcast called Fool Me Twice.
Fool Me Twice.
I know he was pushed into comedy by his friends, and I imagine there was alcohol involved.
Yes, and I think that had a trickle-down effect because it was actually Bradford Oakes who dared me into comedy.
Right. When you say trickle down, it reminds me of pissing myself through fear, but no.
No, I've definitely been there. No, trickle down for me, I guess, is the economics that us millennials will never get from the boomers.
No. Neocons invented that to keep all the money.
Really? Very interesting.
Yeah. Anyway, Danny Boy, this is the wrong podcast to talk politics
That's it. We're
and
getting it.
economics. Danny Boy's coming to town.
Yeah.
I imagine we'll get him on this podcast.
I think that would be great. I think he'd be very good on this podcast.
Him and Jimmy Carr, you've called it.
I've called it. Is it Kelshi? I think it's called Kelshi app. I'm considering, do you know the Kelshi app?
No.
You can bet on anything.
Anything?
Oh.
So, I could be like, Morrie's going to piss himself next time he goes out and
Yeah.
gets drunk, which is, pretty good odds actually.
Yeah.
I could make
Don't
that a
take
thing.
those odds, I
and
would
the general
recommend.
public
Yeah.
could bet on that. So,
No.
I may put a Jimmy Carr hits Melbourne
That's
International
why I wear
Comedy
black
Festival.
trousers.
That's why I don't wear any. So, Morrie, I don't know if you know this.
I don't know if you know this, kids.
Bit of trivia for you. A 2016 study published in the International Journal of Cardiology found that elite stand-up comedians died at an average age of 2 years younger than comedy actors and up to 5 years younger than dramatic actors. That's wild.
That is.
And
yeah.
it comes down, the research has highlighted a bunch of, things that contribute, like lifestyle and obviously substance abuse. I think that's pretty common. Mental health. Apparently comedians are more likely to be diagnosed with mental health and psychotic traits.
Yeah. Now I'm wondering what came first, chicken or egg? Are you psychotic and become a comedian, or does comedy make you crazy?
That is the question, isn't it? It's like, are you drawn to the lifestyle because you're already broken, or does the lifestyle break you?
Well, I do. Sorry to name drop again the Hard Not Knocks, but a lot of people, not a lot.
It's a lot.
I would say 1 in 10 comes in because they've got a vendetta to bitch about something. They want to get something off their chest. And others, though, you've had interesting lives, often because of drug abuse, often because of psychosis in some form. So.
I personally think it adds. I like a comedian that's got a bit of drug abuse and psychosis, on their list.
Yeah, they often don't last long, which is what you're suggesting, right?
Well, correct. I've got a list of comedians here, just a few, to name a few. Lenny Bruce, died of a drug overdose at 40. Bill Hicks,
right?
John Belushi, Chris Farley, Sam Kinison, Patrice O'Neill, 41. Patrice O'Neill had a stroke, John Candy, Bernie Mac, and Robin Williams.
So I think most of those were American. I think Candy's a Canadian.
Yeah.
So I would also suggest being American.
Is a correlation.
Correlation to dying early. Yeah.
A fatal correlation, I think.
And on that note, and talking about drugs, Greg Fleet, right? The famous Greg Fleet is American. Is a drug user.
Wait, Greg's American?
Yeah, he's had an American father. Read his books.
I don't know if I knew that. I didn't.
You didn't, and he's still alive. He
is he?
Yep. Yes, he is still alive.
He owes me some money.
I think he bucks the trend. So he's an outlier. That bell curve is being pushed severely to the right.
I wonder if it's just him that's affecting that. Those statistics. It's just one man.
A peak. It goes big bell curve and then boop, Greg Fleet.
The Fleet curve, maybe.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So not to bring it down, but the phenomenon, it does suggest that while laughter may be the best medicine for audiences, maybe not so for the people producing the laughter.
That's right. I reckon there's a link between dopamine abuse, drugs that help release dopamine and comedy, because as a producer of comedy and often a technician of comedy doing all the sound and lighting, I'm sitting in the back laughing and I can feel miserable the next day. Because I think my dopamine serotonin's been released, kind of like an MDMA or
well, it's that short release thing, isn't it? So jokes are a quicker reward, right? Yeah. It's immediate. And there is, I find for myself as a performer, I've talked to much better performers than myself, that crash that you have afterwards. You've got all that serotonin and dopamine and you're high. And then the next few days it can be a very low sort of time. Yeah,
that and the 12 gin tonics.
Yeah, that doesn't help. Sometimes better to switch to, I like my friend Jellicoe and Dry. Tip out there for everyone. It's a bit less, but I do end up drinking more.
That's good. Well, we should do some research into what is the most preferred drink of comedians as well. Maybe there's a link to high death rates and a particular vodka.
I don't think the vodka industry would want us releasing that information. Might be put in the freezer with all the other vodka bottles.
Oh, do you think they'll come and take us out?
Yeah, I think I absolutely. The Russians are after us already.
Yeah, that's right. And the Polish and the Ukrainians and the French and
everywhere.
All the great
good
vodka
makers.
All right, so that's I didn't know that. So fantastic.
Yeah, and I think this is going to be our last podcast for the year. Actually,
it will be, and then we go into 2026. And before I go there, you've been listening to a podcast.
I have. I've been trying to, as a new podcaster myself, I've been trying to listen to more podcasts. And I'd like to give a big shout out to the Comedy Writers Podcast with Marcel Blanche de Wilt.
Oh, my goodness. His family over generations must have taken over quite a few principalities.
All those double barrels.
Yeah, to get that name.
Absolutely. But I definitely recommend a fantastic insider podcast. The episode that I listened to recently was with Susan Provan.
Of Melbourne International Comedy Festival.
Correct. And that was a fantastic insight into, Susan's been doing this for decades now, almost since Comedy Festival inception, I think.
Yeah. And she might have been there on day one. I believe she was sort of at checking tickets on day one of the festival.
That's very cool, the sort of progression up.
So 40 years for the Comedy Festival, Melbourne Comedy Festival.
Melbourne International.
Yes, next year. So she talked about the thing. Did you ask her any questions?
Yeah, I actually submitted a few questions. I'm just, for me, as a woman in comedy, I don't always like that term, but as a woman, I was just very interested in Susan's experience over the decades of comedy and whether it's easier now to be a female comedian, whether the climate has shifted, whether it's, different being in the back end of comedy as a woman, if that's still a difficulty or an issue. So
I don't know what that means. What's the back end of comedy?
Sure. Well, we're in the back end. Fair for everyone who's listening. Producing, organising, things like that.
Gotcha.
Of that ilk. So I definitely recommend listening to that podcast and especially that episode. Especially heading up to the Melbourne International Comedy Festival. Just a very good insight. And I think I've heard maybe Susan even said herself in an interview that this may be her last year coming up.
I've heard that so. So there will be a transition to whoever's going to take over. I think there's a fellow called Dylan who's now the new CEO or general manager. So maybe he's taking over. Maybe there'll be a transition period where she controls from the wings.
I hope they do like a Sydney Olympics torch passing over or something, like a physical.
Well, I'd like to see that at the end of the comedy festival every year, handed over to someone. But that is good. And he's a Marcel's a great host, writer.
He is, and I think he's going to be involved with the Business of Comedy conference.
Yeah, we'd like to get him involved. So next year here in Melbourne at the Crown Plaza, Crown with an E, not to be confused with the casino over the other side of the Yarra.
Yeah, no slot machines.
No slot machines. Just talking about comedy, the industry, everything from film, TV, radio, podcasts, animation, workshops, and everything in between, like podcast equipment, the camera gear, like the Black Magic crew.
It's very end to end, isn't it? It's sort of from creation and inception to producing and having it out there. So it's great for industry, and I think we're going to have a general public day as well.
That's right, on Saturday, which is where Marcel hopefully will be involved, talking about writing. Hard Knock Knocks will run a workshop there, so we'll be introducing to those who are interested in getting into stand-up comedy, what are the skills needed to get into the business. And I guess that's a good segue into talking about next year's courses. So we've got, at the last account, I think we have 7 of the 12 or 13 courses that we're planning for next year. The first one is in January 18 to 22nd here in Melbourne, and that is with Katie Wainhouse. Now,
fantastic.
Did you see Katie's special on
I did.
7 Plus? Yeah,
Channel 7, with Jim Jeffries and friends.
And she must be a friend because
I'd say she'd be. Who couldn't be friends with Katie Wainhouse, honestly?
Well, unless you're the target of one of her jokes. She's a very dark comedian. Very funny.
Her fat kid and her dumb kid. That's a joke that no one will know. It's one of my favourite jokes.
Don't tell the punchline. It'll be ruined.
Not.
She'll be there with up-and-coming comedian Warwick Sutton.
He's fantastic. Good friend, Warwick.
Yeah, he's a great comedian. He's started comedy later, I think in his late 30s.
And I think there's virtue to that as well. I think, especially with Hard Knock Knocks, you'd know, facilitating a course, a lot of people, I think I've got to get in when I'm 18, 19. But there's so much virtue to getting into comedy at a quote-unquote older age. You've got all that life experience and things like that. So, Warwick's a great example of that, and he's doing really well.
He is. He's a one-liner comedian and does some other short jokes as well, he's fantastic.
And he's got a great range of shirts that say bong on. I have about 4 of them. My kids wear them sometimes and we get strange looks, but they're great shirts.
I would imagine. So that's January. February, moving away from that drug reference segue, into February 1 to 5, February 1 to 5. That is in Sydney. We're coming back to Sydney, baby.
Back to Sydney.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Yeah. Bob Stevenson and I are working together to roll that out. Brad Oakes is coming up, of course, being the resident comedy coach here in Melbourne. And he'll be running it up in Sydney as well.
That's great for the Sydney people.
And you might be too young to remember Tommy Dean, but he was on Hey Hey It's Saturday quite a bit. He's an active comedian, American as well.
Oh, okay.
So I better warn him about his impending death.
100%.
Yeah.
It's on the cards.
It is. In the same month, because February is a shorter month, the end of February, we've got, the good man, an O'Neill. Yeah, it's Dave O'Neill.
It's Dave O'Neill. I think probably the hardest working comedian in the world, potentially.
He's probably has a lot. I haven't seen his odometer. I'm not sure if it's as wide, as broad as Lars Kallio from Canada, who's, I think he's got a VETA. Lars is also one of our alumni, one of our guest comedians from Canada coming to the course in April. But Lars is not only famous for being a Canadian comedian or a comedian in general, but his Volkswagen VETA is going to possibly hit 1 million kilometres.
I've been following this for, I feel like it's been a number of years now, this climb, but it's getting close now. So
yeah.
And he drives all around, like Canada, everywhere.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a round in Canada. Isn't there just like straight lines between cities? I just in my mind, it's just like one city to the left, and then you drive until you hit water in the Pacific.
You see a moose with like a sign
Atlantic.
hanging off its antler. Just go that way.
Yeah. So yes, Lars is our April comedian. Our guest comedian, and he'll be here during the Melbourne International Comedy Festival. Marty Fields is coming in March.
Oh,
Marty,
fantastic.
famous the Fields family. So
Institutions in Melbourne comedy.
absolutely. So he's done the course as a guest before, and he'll come in again. Also, Rusty Bertha also has been a guest comedian before, and he's known as one half of the Scared Weird Little People. Scared Weird Little People. Yeah, reference.
Scared weird little guys.
So Marty Fields is so excellent. Marty, of course, of Morry Fields, a great name, different spelling.
What a name.
And he'll be in March. April, Lars, as I mentioned, Rusty Bertha in May, and we have Mike Goldstein.
Oh, cool, man.
Another American, again, comedian and American. There's a death sentence right there based on your statistics. And he is regular on TV too. He's on Andy Lee, The 100. And he's a very dark comedian as well. I like his dark angles.
Yeah.
And he gets away with it. He's got that sort of cute sort of smile, and he goes, he always finishes a joke that's a bit off colour with, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's such a great little line to
It's
say.
plausible deniability.
I don't
to say
know.
that. And I agree. I think there's something in having an American accent and being able to get away with that like shit-eating grin where you just sort of like, he could fuck your wife and you'd say thanks, you know?
All right. Well, our podcast has just gone up a notch. All right. Well, someone who wouldn't do that is Jeff Green, and he's coming in September.
Jeff Green. Do you, Jeff Green?
Again? My Jeff
One more
Green.
time.
One more time. I was on the 96 tram the other day. What do they have? That set on Cryosphere?
So, Jeff, if Jeff's ever unavailable, Morry Morgan is available to fill in.
Jeff's got a favourite quote, so favourite of mine that I put it on a pen, and it says, 10% of comedy is writing, the rest is rewriting.
That's so true.
Yeah.
That's so true. I have probably about 20 of those pens. They're very, very handy.
All right. Well, you're fired.
You're fired.
That's theft in this business.
Oi, 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 oi. Calm down there.
Well, we'll see you back. I'll fire you now, and you can come back in 2026.
Yeah,
as a new
rehire me
person.
in the new year.
Yeah.
See how we go.
Let's renegotiate that contract.
Well, that's it. That's been This Week in Comedy, and that's it for the year, guys. So we'll be back in January.
Yeah, and if you have a beer out there and you'd like to get this beer showcased on the podcast, do reach out.
We are big fans of beer, so if you are a beer that wants, I will write some lovely copy for your beer if it's good.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you. This has been
Lily Geddes.
and Morry Morgan on
This Week in Comedy.
When gigs are going bad.
To look incredibly rock and roll.
How would you cook that?
Be more entertaining. I'm glad you like that. I just did a little bit of weight.